Super hot trend right now are the leopard tip smile lines. Greg is gonna show you how to get this look flawlessly right now.
In this next episode, I'm going to show you how to achieve a leopard smile line on the surface of this beautiful acrylic enhancement. Before we build the nail, I'm going to go through the process of pushing her cuticles back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep the natural nail and remove all of the shine gently from the surface. That way we get it ready for the acrylic enhancement. Once we've cleansed the natural nail, I'm going to use 2 coats of protein bond. And this is going to ensure incredible adhesion. I'm going to go ahead and use Cover Peach in my application. Go ahead and put the form on. And one of the things I like to do, just to ensure that we have it totally straight, is I need to look at the client profile just to double check to see if my form is on absolutely perfect. And it's going to be straight. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to build her free edge first. That way I'm going to ensure that we have the right length. What I'm going to do is make a nice bead. Once I take my bead out, what I'll do is I'm going to drain out the excess onto the towel. And the reason why I like to do this is because I don't want the free edge to run. So if I set it down and I wipe my brush, you're going to notice that I'm going to be working with a really nice clay-like consistency. So I'll bring it out, and then I'm going to use the body to stretch it out to the length I desire after I get it right up to the sides. You can notice how once I get it up to the sides, then I can start folding it and then dragging it out to the length that I want. This is going to establish a great foundation so that when I do my overlay, I'm going to have perfect shape to file. Once I've built out the free edge, I'm going to use a nice healthy pearl. I'm going to set that at the cuticle area and get it to run as close to the tip as we can. I want to try to keep a majority of the bulk in the stress area right back here. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself a nice bead. I want to give it a couple seconds. I'm going to just lightly tap, and then I'm going to go ahead and set this right to the cuticle area. I'm going to use the tip of my brush to get it nice and tight all around the perimeter of her nail, and you can notice a nice slow run. And then I'm just going to brush from the sides here. What that's going to do is blend. Notice where I'm pulling it. I'm pulling it from around the edges and the front. And then that way, as you can see, I have really good shape on the back end. And then as it starts to set, I can start bringing it towards the free edge. I don't want to bring it all the way to the very, very front. I want to try to keep as much bulk in the stress area as I can. That way, when I file, I'm going to have a great upper arch. I'm going to take one more bead. As you can see, I'm going to dab off the excess. I'm going to set it right at the line of demarcation so you can see right here in between. I'm going to blend that up, and then this excess, I'm going to use the body of my brush and then just walk it over the tip, and that's going to fill in the missing acrylic from the very, very tip of the nail. Once we've actually shaped it, I could run my brush back to blend it up, make it absolutely perfect. Again, use the side of my brush to angle it perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to get this dry. We're going to file this into shape, and then we're going to start our leopard design. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to get my magic wand, as you can see at this angle right here. I don't want it too flat, and that way when I press, I'm pressing right at her stress area. And then I can kind of feel the acrylic from the front just to make sure that everything is drying nice and tight. Perfect. Go ahead and remove the form. We're gonna get ready to file this into shape. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to file this into shape. I'm gonna keep my file even on both sides. Just gonna lightly round off the tip. I'm gonna turn her hand to the side. I'm gonna line it up at the lowest point. File up until my file becomes perfect with her extension, her lower arch. Do the same thing on the opposing side. There's the lowest point right there. File up. So as you can see from the side profile, I'm going to use zone 1 of my barrel. I'm going to come down the upper arch. I'm going to come down the body of the nail, making sure that we're going to have a nice even C curve all the way through. I'm going to go around the cuticle area. Making sure this is all tight, and then once I'm done doing that, I'm going to follow through the whole entire nail. So what I want to be able to do before we finish this off is I want to run my hand file around the cuticle area just to make sure that I have a nice flush perimeter. We want it to blend in with the natural nail as tight as we possibly can. And then follow through the whole entire body. Just to make sure everything is flawless. I'm just going to refine it to perfection, and we're going to get right into the leopard design. Once I'm done finishing the nail, I'm going to go ahead and wipe it with Swipe to clean all the dust off. What we're going to do is use protein bond around the edges just to ensure my design doesn't peel off. I'm going to run it right through the middle, and that way the gel is going to stick really, really well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a really nice beige background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Clutch and Fizz. I am going to take a nice dollop of Fizz and put it right on to the surface of the tile. And then to make a beautiful beige, I'm just going to lightly touch Clutch, just a little bit on the tip, goes a long way. Notice as I use spatula, I want to be able to smooth the surface as much as I possibly can, and the color is going to blend perfect. I'm going to use the edge to pick it back up and then work it back in. That way I get perfection with the color mixing. All right, what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to create a really nice, sharp smile line. So when I'm looking at her nail, I want to be able to pick out 2 points to start. And what I can do is I could take my micro detailer and I could actually just kind of mark where I want them to end. That way they're absolutely even on both sides. I have 1 dot here, and I have 1 dot here. And then what you can do to make it easier for yourself is you could line a dot in the center, just like this. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a way to trace up to the corner. And then again, just by touching my brush, I'm going to do the same exact thing on the opposite side. I want to be able, again, with my brush as vertical as I possibly can, I'm going to just kind of trace. And you want to be able to just lightly trace it in. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I'm trying to keep a majority of the bulk below. So if there's any imperfections that you need to make sharp, you could always take your pointed gel brush and do a little bit of refining from the surface. And then that way it absolutely makes it even. So what I'm going to do, as soon as I trace it, I'm gonna get inside the light for 10 seconds, and then that way I can continue to lay out the background for the leopard print. Once I've established the line, I'm going to use my gel brush, and what I want to be able to do is paint behind the line. So what we're going to do again is use a really thin amount just to lay down this background. Don't worry if you get past the line, you could always go back and clean it up before you stick it inside the light. So what I'm doing is I'm using the edge of my brush and trying to trace that line the best I possibly can. I'm going to clean the tip of my brush. I need to go in from the surface just to make sure that we actually have it absolutely perfect. And again, I'm trying to keep this as thin as we possibly can, but you can see how sharp that is. Once I've established that first layer, I'm going back inside the light for another 10 seconds. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to take a really, really shallow amount on my brush, and I'm just going to highlight the tip, and this is going to make it look absolutely flawless. And we want to try to keep this as thin as we possibly can, that way it's not raised off the nail. So when you put the top coat over the surface, it's not like you're gonna have a bump on the edge of your tip. You notice what I'm doing is, if I'm starting here on the corner, I'm just kind of swooping down, trying to follow that smile as tight as I possibly can. All right. Again, I'm gonna come in. What you can do is take a little bit of swipe. Just going to clean the tip of my brush. And I'm going to use this right behind that smile line to make sure that I actually have it absolutely flawless. Okay. I'm going back inside the light and set it for another 10 seconds. Now I'm going to take a little bit of Overdrive, which is black. I'm going to place this right here on the tile, and we're going to draw out our leopard spots. You can create like really nice kind of like little horseshoes, as you can see. So what I'm going to do again, as you can see, I'm just kind of creating like thicker on one side and trying to bring it as close end. And then what we can do is just add a couple dots just to kind of cover up some of the area in the back. Then I'm going to continue to go through the whole entire surface. I'm going to get a little bit bigger one right here. Again, trying to flatten out my brush. All right. One more right here. And one of the things I like to do is, you can see on the very, very bottom, I'm just kind of using a little V to kind of just join it right on the end. Just a few dots. And that's how we're going to create the leopard print. We're going to get this inside the light for another 10 seconds. Once we have finished painting out the leopard print, I'm going to take ManiQ matte top coat. We're going to apply a nice amount from cuticle to free edge. Let's get this inside the light for 1 minute. Let's go ahead and take swipe, cleanse the surface. And as you can see, we have the perfect leopard smile line.